A group of young adults who are 20s, early 30s went to Pilgrim Pines together for a weekender. We wanted to create a space where we kind of think about the many disruptions we've experienced, especially throughout the pandemic. But I really think the pandemic just brought to the surface the ones that were already happening before. And so it was a weekend to hang out together, to have fun together, and have some honest dialogue about how we've been experiencing disruptions in our faith. We asked our guest speakers as well as people who are sharing their life stories to share just a lot of the questions they were wrestling with through especially times of failure and mistakes. Everybody holds lots of pain in their story, but we don't get to share that often. One of our young adults said, Justin, I don't have a place to share these things more openly. And I'm glad that our community is a place that I can share those things. We were experiencing a community where we can check our merits at the door. We invited a couple pastors from our staff to come share, as well as a few community members to share their own life stories related to the theme that we were working with. And one of the community members who shared, he's someone who I think everybody would say, man, he has like his stuff together. Like he has figured out life. But as we were hearing his story, we realized that what we see on the surface is not all of it. And he shared some stories about his pains coming out of his family of origin. His family his parents are actually immigrants, and they went through a lot of stress related to food insecurities, economic insecurities that eventually led to significantly difficult health challenges, as well as seeing his mom on the verge of taking her own life. As he was sharing these things, he was just talking about the struggles he faced and how he was coping when in his younger years, and the difficult questions he was asking about God himself. It was incredibly sad to hear those stories, but the effect it had on all of us actually was that, man, nobody has a perfect story. Everybody has difficulties. Everybody has questions. In some ways, everybody feels alone in all of their struggles and their questions, and that story helped us really engage with ourselves honestly, with God honestly, and with each other honestly. I think the beautiful part about his story, as well as the other people who shared their stories, was that none of those stories have a neat bow wrapped around it. They all have parts that are still being worked out in faith. They all have questions around work and family and relationships and our identities and all of that. But I think that was the encouraging part of their stories. I think me as well as the participants realized, oh man, I have those stories and I'm wrestling with it. Oh, maybe I don't have to wrestle with it alone because that person went through it. That person is still going through it. And maybe I can share. And maybe we can carry that burden together.